this is personally the most controversial Mormon teaching. Things I thought were normal growing up Mormon. Back in the 2000s, the Mormon prophet at the time, Gordon B. Hinckley, he gives a talk about worthiness. Something you'll notice about Mormons is the women are under very strict, just like appearance guidelines. Gordon B. Hinckley, right? The prophet called of God, has a very important message from God. And guess what his message was about? God does not want any member of the church to have tattoos. Girls, if you have to have an ear piercing, it has to be only one. No second piercings. They also said that men weren't allowed to have long hair. A different Mormon prophet, Spencer W. Kimball, warned girls, of course it's always girls, against extreme dressing and grooming appearances for their hair and their clothes and their makeup. Dress and do their hair and their makeup nicely, neatly, cleanly, and feminine. Why are they so obsessed with appearances? Because it's something called worthiness signaling. You want to be able to spot a Mormon in the wild, and you want them to be distinctly different from everyone else in the world. The Mormon prophet Boyd K. Packer taught that we needed to avoid loud, aggressive music that was of the world. It could drive away the spirit. I was also raised on something called For the Strength of Youth pamphlet, which is like a guidebook for kids and teenagers. It talked about choosing friends that share your standards, which ends up just being another way to tell Mormons to really just hang out with each other. It also mentioned if there was ever a conversation or a song or a movie that suddenly becomes irreverent or not of the church, to simply remove yourself. What could classify as irreverent? If someone's bad-mouthing the church or critiquing the teachings of the church, leave the conversation. I would say that this is personally the most controversial Mormon teaching. Brigham Young, who was the second prophet of the Mormon church, taught that black skin was a curse. Black people were under what's called a divine curse because they are descendants of Cain. Black people could still get baptized, but all that temple ritual stuff, all the ceremonies that the church teaches you need to get to heaven, Black people were not allowed to participate in. Black men specifically were not allowed to hold the priesthood, which is the power that's given to men in the Mormon church. This was back in the 1800s. Guess when they finally lifted this priesthood ban in the Mormon church? This was 14 years after the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which outlawed discrimination based on race, sexuality, gender, religion, etc. So I guess it took God a little bit longer to get over his racism. That is all the time that we have today. Get into this beat though.